Squid Game is the South Korean thriller taking the world by storm, and if you're anything like us, you've consumed the whole series as hungrily as the contestants licking that tasty honeycomb candy. Now that you've survived all 6 games, you're probably left with many questions. Thankfully, you don't have to risk sneaking into a top-secret island to get answers, as we've got you covered. Beware of spoilers, and let the games begin! Is Squid Game based on a book? With its shocking twists and iconic uniforms, you might think the story was pulled from a book or manga, but it's not. It's the entirely fictional creation of writer-director Han Dong-hyuk, who actually wrote the story way back in 2008. He told Variety that he did take inspiration from Japanese comics and animation, saying that he spent a long time reading manga like Battle Royale and Liar Game, and wondering what it would be like to take part in those deadly challenges himself. However, where those stories had complex rules, he wanted to base Squid Game on childhood games instead. And because of that, well, we'll never look at marbles the same way again. Who stars in Squid Game? While the cast of the show are well known in South Korea, many international viewers are asking, who stars in Squid Game? Our down-on-his-luck hero, Sung Ji-young, is played by TV and film veteran Lee Jung-jae, who is best known here for his roles in New World and Il Mare, which was remade as the Sandra Bullock and Keanu Reeves time travel romance, The Lake House. Park Hae-seo plays the duplicitous financial investor Cho Sang-woo. Insert your own boos and hisses here. You can see Park in Prison Playbook, and he's due to appear in the Korean remake of Money Heist, where he'll play Berlin. Must be drawn to projects with red jumpsuits. Amazingly, Ho Young-jung, who plays North Korean defector Kang Se-byuk, makes her acting debut in Squid Game. The former model really jumping into the deep end with these intense death games. And aging contestant Oh Nam is played by Oh Young-so, best known for his role as a monk in Spring, Summer, Fall, Winter and Spring.
우리 손가락 걸고 깐부 맺은 거.
Is Squid Game a real game in Korea? And by this we mean the playground game, not the whole locking 456 people in a battle to the death. Happily, this bit isn't real. But the childhood pastime that is played in the show's opening moments and in the final episode definitely is. Squid Game involves a team of defenders trying to stop a team of attackers from reaching a square in the outline of a squid drawn on the floor, with the attackers stuck on one leg until they cross the middle of the squid. The game was popular in the 1970s and 80s and is one of director Han Dong-hyuk's favourites from his playground days. He told the Korea Herald that it is a perfect metaphor of our highly competitive society. In the real-life version, people aren't allowed to use knives, but then real-life tug-of-war isn't played above a giant pit either. As with so many childhood games, rules vary from kid to kid, and different groups have different names for different rituals.
암행어사.
이유는 알 수 없지만 우린 그걸 암행어사라고 불렀다.
But with the success of the show, expect Squid Game to be flooding international playgrounds soon. Is the honeycomb game real? Easily the most delicious challenge in Squid Game, it's not like the cafeteria food is much to write home about. The honeycomb game is indeed based on another Korean pastime. Known as dalgona candy, the snack is traditionally made from sugar and baking soda and has an image pressed into it with a biscuit cutter. Children then attempt to nibble around the edges of the picture to cut it without breaking it. Again, Squid Game adds a sinister punishment for snapping the image, but the basics of the challenge are true to real life. So top tip, if you ever find yourself in a South Korean playground, pick the simplest image possible. How much is 45.6 billion won? Now for the $1 million question, or rather the 45.6 billion won question. How much is 45.6 billion won worth? That's the prize up for grabs if you manage to survive all 6 of the death games and walk away the victor. It sounds like a life-changing amount, and it certainly is. At today's rates, it equals $38.6 million, or £28.2 million. There are 456 players in the survival game, and each death adds 100 million won to the piggy bank. That makes the price of a human life $84,000, or £62,000. Just after one game of red light, green light, the prize money sits at 25.5 billion won. $21.5 million or £15.9 million. Suddenly you understand why so many people voted to stay in the game after that harrowing first round. The most important thing is, you get the prize money on a credit card, rather than heaving the pig home. What do the business card symbols mean? Circles, triangles and squares appear everywhere in Squid Game, and no, they aren't a sneaky advert for PlayStation. Found on the business cards used to lure players into the game, the circle, triangle and square are letters of Hangul, the Korean alphabet. The circle represents O, the triangle forms part of the letter J, and square stands for M. Taken together, they read OJM, which form part of the Korean name for Squid Game, Ojinjeogyam. They also double up as shapes taken from the floor pattern used to play Squid Game itself. What is the red light, green light doll based on? In a series full of instantly iconic characters and settings, none made the same impact on us as the creepy robotic doll.
야, 저 뭐냐? 존나 이상하게 생겼네. 씨발 대가리 존나 크다.
In the show, the doll controls red light, green light, spotting any contestants who move after the song and dooming them to a terrible fate. But incredibly, this terrifying statue wasn't built for Squid Game. It exists in real life. The doll belongs to a horse carriage museum called Matchaland, found in the South Korean village in Jincheon County. At the museum, she serves the slightly less scary role of welcoming visitors to the museum, so feel free to move all you like. Is Squid Game dubbed? Made in South Korea, you can enjoy Squid Game in the original Korean with subtitles or with an English language dub. But I'm afraid that whichever version you listen to, the show is no less heartbreaking.
Thank you. You made all this a good experience.
Will there be a second season of Squid Game? Well, we don't know that yet, but there's certainly room for more stories to be told. Until we find out more, we'll just keep rewatching episode 6 and crying ourselves to sleep. Did you enjoy Squid Game? And if you were running the contest, which playground games would you turn into challenges for the contestants? Share your most devious thoughts in the comments, and remember to subscribe to Still Watching Netflix right now for more videos about your favourite shows and movies.